الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والله لا يحب الفساد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created various relationships for the believers. One relationship is due to blood. For example, siblings, children of parents. The Sharia gives them the status of siblings. Brother and sister relationship. And then there's another relationship that is based upon Iman. In Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. That the believers are also brothers to one another. The Prophet said that كُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا, that become servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like brothers. And in today's era, unfortunately, these teachings are not highlighted as much as they should be. And that's why many young men, young women, they make friends of their own choice. And sometimes they end up sacrificing these blood relations that they have for the sake of their friends. The friends become close, and parents and siblings, they become distant from them. The person, he becomes cut off from everyone, and one falls into such relationships that the connection between parents and your connection with parents also weakens. And similarly, the connection with other siblings, sisters, or brothers, that also suffers. And that's why there's a need to explain the importance of these relationships. Now, for that, we need to understand the family setup within a home. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us different things to join two different things. When a person follows deen, then automatically it brings love for others who follow the deen. It's a natural thing. In such a household, there will be love among the members when you have deen in that home. So, for example, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us we have different limbs. We have eyes. The eyes, they have sight, but the rest of the body is blind. The ears have hearing, the rest of the body is deaf. The tongue can speak, but the rest of the body is mute. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed something inside this body, this jism, which is called the ruh. And in the presence of the ruh, all of these limbs, they can act as one unit. If a person is alive, the ruh is inside. Then if there is pain in the foot, the eye will shed a tear. So one part suffers, but the other part experiences pain. The happiness of one part is felt by the other part. And you will never see that a person has pain in their stomach, but the legs they refuse that we won't go to the hospital. It's not my worry. So this is because the whole jism, the body is acting as one unit. It's working as one unit. And if this ruh is taken out from the jism, now even if you pull out that person's tongue, you cut that tongue into pieces, nothing will happen with the eye. The eyes will not cry. Hands will not come to stop. Why? Because the ruh is no longer there. In the absence of the ruh, this is no longer going to be one unit. And now, if we can use this example to understand our home, our families, we see that our family is also made up of different individuals, and each one of them has his or her own place. Father is a father, he cannot become the brother or a son. Son is a son of that father, he cannot be related to the father in any other way. The son has his own identity, the father has his own identity, the mother, she has her own identity, the daughter has her own identity, the brother has his own identity, and the sister has her identity. Different identities, different roles. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed a ruh inside them as well. And if that ruh is there, then in the presence of that ruh, these people with different identities, different positions, different roles, they will work as one unit. Just like the body is functioning as one unit, these people will also work as one unit. And that ruh is the deen of Islam. Whichever home has the deen of Islam, the teachings of Islam, then the teachings themselves are so beautiful that automatically such individuals will become caring for each other, will become kind towards each other, and the home will become like a mini Jannah. All of this happens when deen is there inside the house. There will be love, there will be affection. And on the other hand, if this deen is not present, then there is a danger that we will lose that love. And then there will be fights and disputes and problems. There will be distance. And sometimes two brothers are not talking to each other. Husband, wife, they're not talking to each other. So the principle, the thumb rule is that if we want the house, our homes to function as one unit, then we need to get deen in our homes. And if we are heedless about our deen and the teachings of our deen, then this will be reflected in our own homes as well. And that's why deen means the sunnah. Deen means the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ. They will uh, bring the ruh back in our, it will bring the ruh back in our own homes. So another way we can understand this is that for joining two things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has always created a third thing. In order to join two things in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a third thing. So for example, to join two pieces of paper, there is a third thing called a glue. And through glue, we can make them one. For joining two bricks, we have cement. With cement, they will become one. For joining two pieces of wood, we have nail. Joining two pieces of cloth, Allah gave us the needle, the thread. For joining two pieces of iron, we have this welding. And then the question arises that if there are two things in this world, and there is always a third that can join those two things together. So if you have two hearts, what is that third thing that can join the two hearts together? Bring the two hearts together, bring two individuals together. And the answer again is deen. The answer again is Islam, the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ. If two people they start acting on those teachings, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will join their hearts, not the individuals. In Quran, there's a beautiful ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَيَجْعَلُ لَهُمُ الرَّحْمَنُ وُدًّا, that those people who have Iman and they do righteous deeds, then the Rahman, yani, this is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself will appoint love between their hearts. Yani, if there is taqwa, awareness of Allah ta'ala at both ends, love of Allah, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put love in those relationships as well. So the root then is that if we can fix our relationship with Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can fix our other relationships as well. Allah ta'ala will make us that example of ruhama'u baynahum, that merciful among themselves. So our topic for today is brother, and this is a particularly important topic. And we see that there are two relationships. One is a sibling relationship, whether brother, sister, or sister. And then there's another relationship which is between the children and their parents. So we spoke about the second one in the previous two sessions. Now we'll inshallah begin to speak about this relationship between siblings, brother today and then tomorrow inshallah sister. So if if a father has two sons, and if they live with love and affection, there will be two benefits in that. Firstly, by living with love and affection, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will become pleased. And secondly, parents will also become happy when they see that their kids are living with love and harmony, when the temperaments they align with each other. So this will give joy to the hearts of the parents as well. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us, that the parents, their children, they should live with each other with that love, with that compassion, with that kindness. So, for example, if there are two brothers or a brother and a sister, they should think like this. That one, we have a relationship of blood with us, between us. And second, we have a relationship of deen between us. It's not just blood that we are related by blood, we are also related by deen. So, blood relationship would be that yes, we are sons or daughters of the same parents, and hence we should live with love because we share the same parents. And then we also share another relationship, which is a relationship based upon deen, which is that bring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala back into this equation, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also wishes that these two servants of mine, they should live with love and kindness and affection. So for this reason, let's say if we have two brothers or a brother and a sister, they should think that we should live in such a way, so lovingly, that if they're two brothers, then people look at them and they say they're not just two brothers, they're actually best friends. They're brothers, but also they're friends to each other. So in reality, one of the things that will help us improve this relationship is that when we have that element of friendship as well, we have friends at school, we have friends in the neighborhood, but this friend that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us at home, this is one of the biggest blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That if they have like two brothers or three brothers in one home, they should make each other their friends and live like friends, live like brothers, but more than that, live like friends. And friends mean that they take help from each other, they play with each other, they work with each other, they live that life. We have seen, alhamdulillah, such homes that the brothers, they live with so much love, so much coordination, that they appear less like brothers, but more like friends. They're always there for each other, giving mashwara, counsel, good advice. They're honoring, helping, assisting. And this only increases love in such a home. It increases that sukoon, that itminan, and makes it very peaceful and a very, very peaceful environment for everyone. So, on the other hand, what normally happens is the mistake that we make is that shaitan normally creates misunderstandings in these relationships. And we know this in Surah Baqarah that this is something with which shaitan loves to create misunderstandings, to weaken these bonds that we have, and to when there are misunderstandings, then we see that the brothers, they're not talking to each other. Uh, if someone says something, the other person gets angry and then does something very extreme. Brothers are not speaking to their sisters, or they remember small childhood memories, and then they don't maintain that good relationship with each other. Sometimes, even after marriage, they're unable to maintain a good relationship. And this is foolishness because the childhood matters should be forgotten in childhood. When one grows up and they get married, then one should try to work on establishing a loving relationship with each other. Uh, at the end of the day, we are humans, so we should understand that there will be ups and downs. There will be mistakes, there will be shortcomings that are inherent in human beings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us bi khuliqal insanu za'ifa, that man is weak in nature, in structure. We are prone to forgetfulness, to heedlessness. A brother, he might forget something, might commit something which is a shortcoming on his part, due to which the other person might get hurt. And then misunderstandings, they arise. Initially, they're not a big deal. But again, shaitan will magnify those small things, and then will create that ill will, that hatred, the enmity, spite between the hearts of the brothers for each other. So this is something that should be avoided, that we try to tame our emotions. We don't let shaitan spoil that relationship. Similarly, just like two brothers, it's a relationship of love. A brother-sister relationship is also a relationship of a lot of love. But we should understand the temperament. Brothers normally have this nature of teasing their sisters, sometimes unnecessarily. It's just their nature. They will be sitting or might say something. They might say something about their clothes, about the clothes of their sister, something about their food, about their things. They keep teasing them, and it's a habit. But this teasing, however, does not mean that they have hatred for the other person. In fact, this teasing is also, at a deeper level, a sign of their love. So, on one hand, they might be saying things jokingly or teasing the other person. Uh, but on the other hand, if there is any issue for the sister, the brother will take the sister's side, sympathize with her. So, as parents, we should try to explain these things to the kids as well, that this is part of life. And we should also, being siblings ourselves, we should also understand that the personality of a son is different, the personality of a daughter is different. Sons are normally rough and tough, uh, and they might tease the other person, sometimes hide things, sometimes remove things, sometimes say things. But this is, again, one of their ways of expressing love. On the other hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed politeness in sisters. They say less, but they keep a lot in their heart. And that's also not good, to keep small things about their brothers in their hearts. We should try to learn to forgive and forget for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And really, at the end of the day, appreciate this blessing that we have, this blessing of a relationship that we have a brother, we have a sister. There are so many homes, and we can go and see so many homes where there are only sisters and no brothers. And the sisters, they're just longing for a brother. That even if they have a brother which is 1 day old, the sisters, they feel a shadow over them, that there is someone there for us. They feel protected. They feel that we have someone to support us. They get so much support, even from a younger brother. And then on the other hand, those homes or those families where they're all brothers and no sister, we see again, experience tells us that the upbringing of those brothers is also not complete or not fully perfect. Because brothers by nature, they try to live a life which is rough and tough with each other. And that roughness and toughness, it carries over to them in their temperament as well. So that balance normally doesn't come until there is a sister. So having a sister and having a brother, it's a very big blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these relationships should be valued because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to value these relationships. Now, if you look in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned some stories about brothers. One of them is the story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam's story is there in the Quran, that he had brothers, and we see that they were jealous of him. And they did such a thing with him that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam did not even expect. Out of their hasad, their jealousy, they threw the younger brother, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu salam, into a well. And one can just imagine what must have passed through the heart of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu salam being inside that well. But we should understand that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu salam, later on in the story, he never took revenge from his brothers. And here we see that the brothers, because of their hasad, their jealousy, they can't even stand looking at Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. They want to get rid of him. And on the other hand, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, when he becomes the ruler and he has the authority and power, he never takes revenge. He never responds. Rather, he leaves this entire matter in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this zulm that was done against him. He was wronged by his own blood. He was wronged by his own brothers, but he left the matter in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He just left it, and he endured all of that with patience, with sabr, with taqwa. He bore that loss. He was in a state of loss. He suffered that loss. But then what happens, and what the usul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that when someone leaves the matter in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they just exercise patience, then at the end of the day, the outcome will always be favorable for such a person. At the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always give izzat and honor and respect, dignity to such a person. And the izzat of that person increases in the eyes of Allah when a person doesn't respond back, and they just leave it in the hands of Allah, that Allah, I've been wronged, and for your sake, I'm just leaving the matter. I will just exercise sabr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you what you have, what your right is, plus Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you even better. He will give you izzat, will magnify, will increase your izzat. And that's what we see in the story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam as well. That at one point, later on in the story, those same brothers, they come back to Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi Islam, and they're now seeking forgiveness from him, that please forgive us. At one point, they're even saying that the saddaq alayna, that we don't have enough money to buy this grain from you, but if you can just give this sadaqah to us. They're having to beg before Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. And then Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he forgave all of them. So we learn this lesson, that even if a person has been wronged by their siblings, If they just exercise sabr and they leave the matter in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with respect to the outcome, Allah will never let this person down, will never disappoint this person. This person will get what is right is, will actually get it better in a way that is more honorable. So that's one thing that we learn in this story. And the other attribute of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam being a brother was his forbearance, was his tahammul, this ability of forbearance, this forgiveness. We see that in several places, but one in particular is when Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was the ruler at this point, and the brothers they come, and then Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, he devises a strategy to keep his younger brother Binyamin with him. And for that, he puts a cup in his camel, and then he announces that my cup is missing. Someone stole my cup. And then that cup is found in the belongings of Binyamin. And when the other brothers they find this, they responded to Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam that this is no surprise that Binyamin is a thief, because his elder brother Yusuf was also like that, was also a thief. Now imagine Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam is listening to this. The brothers did not recognize that he's Yusuf alayhi salam, but فَأَسَرَّهَا يُوسُفُ فِي نَفْسِهِ. So then Yusuf alayhi salam, he hid his feelings, his emotions at that time within himself. And this was his forbearance, that he did not respond immediately, just had this tahammul. And this is a very important attribute for us to have, especially in this role of a brother. Every great individual, they have forbearance in them. It's a necessary component of their life. Without this, a person cannot attain greatness. To have forgiveness and this forbearance, this is extremely important. Here, Sayyidina Yusuf al-Islam knows that what they're saying is wrong. They're lying, they're slandering. And yet he is forbearing, and he does not even reveal what the asl, the haqiqat, the reality is. And he has so much control over himself, this level of tolerance and zabt and control. This is something that we see in his seerah. And then finally, the third attribute that we see in the story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam is the merciful nature that he had towards his brothers. And this comes right at the end when finally he reveals his identity, where uh, finally, they ask that, uh, that are you Yusuf alayhi salam? The brothers they ask, and then Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam replies, says that Ana Yusuf, that yes, I'm Yusuf, wa haza akhi, and this is my brother. So at that time, then Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he forgives all of his brothers. He forgives them. La tasriba alaykum al-yawm, that there is no blame upon you. Go, I've forgiven all of you. Now, there's some research that mentions how one can be a good brother. And the first point is that a brother should be respectful towards his siblings. They should he should give respect to others. He should respect his sister, his brother, treat them with respect, call them with respect, because just like love begets love, similarly respect also begets love. Respect begets love, respect begets respect. The person who respects others also gets respect. And part of respect is to use good language. Many times a person uses nicknames to show love, uh, or they think that the other person might be annoyed. So that should not be done. Rather, one should call by the name that makes the other person happy. Brothers and sisters, they should use good language for each other. And especially important is for a brother to avoid his strength, and not to abuse their strength. Sometimes this is a mistake, and we see that someone is stronger, brothers are stronger than sisters. They often abuse their strength. They might pinch or do certain actions that physically cause trouble, twist their hand, twist their finger. So this is a duty that we should not abuse our strength, not misuse that strength, rather be protective. Every brother, one of his responsibilities is to be protective in the matter of his brothers and sisters, to protect them. When it comes to someone else, always support your brother, be with them, protect them from any harm. The uh, the Shariat has given us such a beautiful principle that uh, it says it's a small principle, but a very beautiful one, very deep one, that the elders should be lenient towards the younger ones, and the younger ones should be obedient to the elders. So in Hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that Laisa minna man lam yarham saghirana wa yuwaqqir kabirana. That he is not one of us who does not have mercy on our young ones and does not respect our elders. Meaning that he's not a Kamil Muslim, not from the Kamil Ummati of the Prophet ﷺ. And this is a very important statement then, that Kamale Ummati means that the younger ones should respect their elders. And the Sharia says that the elder brother should be respected like a father. Just like one's father is respected, the maqam of the elder brother is like that of a father. Just like the father is respected, the younger siblings should respect the elder brother like their father. And then conversely, the elder brother should take care of his younger siblings in the same way as the father takes care of his children. So it's a beautiful principle, one-liner, but there's so much depth and meaning in this. Now, when siblings they grow old, then their relationship should become even stronger. And again, there's some research about this as well, how to strengthen that relationship in that stage of a person's life. And it mentions, the first thing it mentions is that one should let go of uh, childhood hurts. The small childhood hurts, the things that hurt each other in childhood, that should be forgotten. Those things should not be remembered in youth, after marriage, in old age. Similarly, it also says that one should show up for each other's big or small events. One should go to each other's events. So, for example, if there is an event of the brother, the sister should go. If the sister gets married or has a child, or any such other event, then the brother should go. Meaning that the general meaning here is that one should not be absent from each other's life events. This, big life events, one must go, even if one has to take a leave, even if one has to travel, even if there is some mujahida, some sacrifice, some level of hardship, some level of difficulty, but it's important. It's important that the brother be there. The brother should be there. Should be there at such events. That importance should be there in the heart of the brother, that I have to attend this, whether it's an event of joy or an event of sorrow, I have to attend this. So the Sharia loves this, that brothers and sisters, they should participate in each other's events of sorrow, of happiness. Because if a person doesn't attend events, then this only creates distance in each other's hearts. Then the next point is to treat each other like equals. When siblings they grow up, they should treat each other equally. It's not that a brother is some superior being, or sister is some insignificant in some other way, uh, such a relationship should not be maintained. Brothers should respect sisters, should have a respect for sisters. Sisters should also have a respect for brothers. It should be on the level of equality. And the research also said another point, that don't discuss your relatives' opinions. Any siblings, they should not discuss the opinions of the relatives with each other. For example, sometimes it's just one sentence and that's enough. And the other person, their heart gets filled with fire. We should not discuss relatives' opinion. Uh, Sometimes, we even say this, that the father was saying this about you, or the mother, she was saying this about you. Uh, this should also be avoided. Uh, when siblings, they grow up, they should not share people's comments with each other in this way. This creates that distance in the heart. Next point was that don't make distance an excuse for being emotionally distant. So if a sister, she gets married in one city and the brother is in another city, now there is some distance, but this distance should not be made an excuse for being emotionally distant from each other. One should go to meet each other, one should maintain a connection with each other. And then when they grow up, another point was that the siblings, they should try to stay out of any family drama, any family politics. For example, there might be aunt issues with the uncles, issues and some other relatives. One should stay out of this, even to the extent that if there is an argument between the parents on some matter, then they should not become partisan in that relationship, in that debate. Because if someone takes the side of the mother, then their own relationship will be spoiled. You know, parents, they might be arguing today, but then after a while, they will, be talking about love and affection with each other. So parents' matter should be kept with the parents. The children should keep themselves separate from this drama, from this politics. In many places, unfortunately, this politics continues. When there are more people, there are more brothers in a family, there are more wives, then there are more minds, there are more thoughts, more differences, more disputes, more debates. So in all of these situations, it's just better to keep oneself away from politics. Whatever the matter, do not take this open side of any one of the parents. Rather say that I love both of you. Express love to both of them. Tell them that for me, the respect of both of you is necessary. I have love for both of you in my heart. What can I do? I have a connection with both of you in my heart. And if they should feel that this child is not on any one side, but this child has a connection with both of us. This child, he has a connection with both of us. Having this brother, it's a very important, it's a very big blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one should recognize uh, the importance of this relationship. Um, that as a brother, if you have a sister or if you have another brother, uh, it's important to understand that this is a very, in one research, it mentions that just having a brother or a sister or a sibling, their presence reminds you of the importance of family. And in the presence of a sibling makes you realize the importance of a family, what a complete family is like. Because they will fight for you even if they're fighting with you. They will not judge you. They will love you unconditionally. They will always be there to defend you. And your sibling is the only person who speaks your language, who understands your language, right? They speak each other's language. They are the ones who can make you laugh. They're the ones who can keep your secret. They value your advice. And also, they can, you can patch up with them anytime. This is so beautiful that you can just pick up with them any time of your life and you can resume your relationship with them. Even if the conversation is closed, you just say sorry and then you can resume that conversation, that connection. So time is not needed to pick it up. And siblings, they go out of the way for you. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this beautiful story that this relationship of a brother is such that when a difficult time comes upon a person, invariably he remembers his brother. Meaning, when a difficult time comes upon a person, he remembers his brother. The story is about Sayyidina Musa والسلام, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he went to Mount Tur, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with Nabuwa, gave him Nabuwat, and then commanded him that, O Musa, izhab ila Fir'aun innahu tagha. That, O Musa, now go to Fir'aun, for he has become rebellious. Now, at that time, Sayyidina Musa والسلام, he thought that this is a very big responsibility that is being placed upon me. And this is also going to be very difficult because I'll have to go face Fir'aun. Plus, Sayyidina Musa والسلام, also remembered that in my childhood, I had put this burning coal on my tongue. So my speech is not clear, meaning that he could speak, but there was a slight deficiency in his speaking, like a knot in the tongue. So at that time, when he felt that this responsibility is great, and I will not be able to fulfill this responsibility alone, so he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a beautiful dua. And in that dua he said that, Ya Allah, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. That, oh Allah, expand my chest for me, ease my affair for me, and untie this knot from my tongue so that they can understand my speech. And then after that, he said, وَاجْعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِّنْ أَهْلِي هَارُونَ أَخِي. And appoint for me a helper from my family, Harun, my brother. So we see that who is Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam remembering at such a time? This time when there's this apparent big responsibility, big task that he has to do. Who is he remembering? He remembers his brother. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his dua and gave nabuwat to Sayyidina Harun alayhi salatu wasalam as well. Later on, when Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam will go to receive the Torah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he would appoint Hazrat Harun alayhi salam that you remain here with the community and I'll be there for 40 days. I'm going to come back after 40 nights. And when he comes back, he sees that there is a person called Samri. And Samri, he made a calf and there's some people were worshipping. So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he got angry with Sayyidina Harun alayhi salam that how could you allow for such a thing? And then Sayyidina Harun alayhi salam, he defended himself and said that don't be angry with me. I tried my level best to stop, but what could I do? These people were insistent, were persistent. And then we see that Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he made dua to Allah Ta'ala for himself and for his brother. Allahumma ghafirli wa li akhi wa adkhilna fi rahmatik wa anta arhamar rahimin. That Allah forgive me and my brother. So here as well, including his brother in his dua, this dua for forgiveness, that Allah forgive me and my brother for our shortcomings, for our mistake, and Allah shower both of us with your mercy. So these are two beautiful du'as made by Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, which show to us the importance of brother. That in the dunya, whenever a person is faced with a challenge, we see here that the first thought, the person that he remembers at such a time, he remembers his brother. But this doesn't just end here in this dunya. Rather, rather, this continues even uh, in akhirah. It goes beyond the dunya. So on the day of Qiyamah, which is the most worrying day, it will be a day of great calamity. There is no greater day of trouble than that day, the day of Akhirah. Every person will be worried, they will be afraid, in a state of fear. And then at that time, there will be a condition where a person would feel that he has very few good deeds. And then when he thinks about taking good deeds from someone, that if I can take a few good deeds, then I'll be able to go into Jannah. So with that thought, he will go and he will think that who can I go to? Who can I go to request them to give me some of their good deeds? And this is what Quran mentions, that the first person that this person will think about is, let me go to my brother. Let me go to my brother. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ. Allah says, on that day, a man will flee from his brother. And the mention of the brother is first, and his mother and his father. They're mentioned later. So this is such a relationship, such a beautiful relationship, that in this dunya, when a person is in some trouble, some difficulty, the person that he remembers, that he thinks about first is his brother. And when in Akhirah, when there will be the calamity and the trouble of Akhirah, there as well, a man will remember his brother. So this is a relationship that should be truly be valued. And in our own homes, brothers, they should live with affection, with love. Whatever disputes and disagreements there are, we should try to resolve them, try to reconcile them, try to bring about a sulh to improve this relationship, because this is something which is very pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very, very pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we try to bring about this reconciliation. So in the language of the Sharia, this is called sila rahmi, that to mend ties between relatives, and first and foremost in our context for today, to mend ties between siblings, brother and a brother, brother and a sister, because the opposite of sila rahmi is called kata rahmi. When a person, they are not speaking to each other, they're not even saying salam to each other. Allah loves joining ties of kinship, sila rahmi, and Allah does not like kata rahmi. In a hadith mubarakah, it's mentioned that there are two things for which a person will get compensation very, very quickly in this dunya. Very quickly. And this is something that we should try to understand. Two things where in this dunya a person will get the compensation, the return very quickly. First is that if one lives with sila rahmi, they join ties with brothers, with their sisters, then there will be such a barakah. The barakah will be manifested, will be expressed in this dunya very, very quickly. The barakah of sila rahmi, joining ties. And the second thing, if a person severs relationship, they're not speaking to their brother, not speaking to their sister, or they speaking with arrogance, or they're doing zulm, wronging the other person, doing injustice on the other person, then there will be a azab, there will be a punishment, some calamity, some difficulty, and that also will come very, very swiftly, and one will be able to see that in this dunya. So the reward of joining these ties of kinship comes very quickly and swiftly. And similarly, any zulm or injustice that a person has done, in this regard, the azab of that, the punishment for that also comes very, very swiftly. So we should try to live with sila rahmi. In one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned that there are three rewards, three in'amat, three gifts that a person gets when they practice this quality of joining such ties uh, of relationship. The first is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extends, prolongs the age of that person. And second gift, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expands the rizq, the sustenance of that person. And third blessing is that the one who does sila rahmi, Allah saves that person from a bad death, a bad ending. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses them with the kalama at the time when they leave this world. So we see three things. They get kalama at the end, they get barakah in their wealth, and they get barakah in their age, in their life. So three things, these are three vital important things of a person's life. And a lot of our masail and issues, they revolve around these three things. About our health, about our business, about our deen, about our ending. And the solution for all three of them lies in Sila Rahmi, lies in this joining ties of kinship. When a person's there is barakah in a person's age, means that they will have health. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them health, good health. When their rizq is expanded, that their sustenance, their provision is expanded, means that Allah will save them from loans and from financial difficulty and distress and trouble. They don't need to beg before others. And similarly, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them the kalma in the last moments, it means that they will have a good ending. They will have a good ending. So we should keep these three gifts before us. And for this reason alone, we should try that brothers and sisters, they should live this exemplary life of love. We should try to learn this hadith, remember this hadith, and try to use this hadith as a way to solve our disputes. If there are any disputes, any differences, solve them and try to live this life of love so that we can get these three gifts. In one other hadith in Barakah, the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever wishes that my reckoning on the day of Qiyamah should be easy, and I can easily be made to enter into Jannah, then that person should sil man kata'ak. They should join ties with that person who's severing ties. And you do your part. Don't look at what the other person is doing. You do what you're supposed to do. Wa'fu amman zalamak, and you forgive that person who wrongs you. Wa'ati man haramak, and you give to that who is actually taking away from you, who's stopping from you, preventing you from getting your share. You give to that person. Any who breaks from you, you join ties with them. Any those siblings, those brothers and sisters uh, who want to remain aloof from us, who want to separate themselves from us, we try to extend our hand to them. We try to come close to them. If someone is turned away, we try to win them over. Uh, if someone is in distress, among our siblings, brothers and sisters, if someone is in distress, we do whatever we can to help them to remove that distress. So this is what the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is saying, that whoever severs ties with you, you join, you join. So it's not saying that whoever is doing good to you, you do good to them. Because then that's tijarat, that's trade, that's a bargain. The Prophet ﷺ is saying that whoever is doing bad to you, you do good to them. Whoever is breaking ties with you, you at least do your part in trying to join that tie. Whoever is wronging you, you try to overlook and try to forgive them. So brother, sister, they sometimes tease each other, they might wrong each other, they might hurt the heart of the other person. We should not do these things, but if someone does this to us, then we should try to forgive. Be quick to forgive so that we can get a share in the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, whoever tries to deprive you, you give it to them. And again, we find this in relationships between brothers and sisters that someone brought something and you say that they did not give this to me. Why are they giving it to someone else? Uh, I asked for this toy or I asked for that present. I asked for the computer, for the phone, for the laptop. I wanted to use it, but they didn't allow me to use it. So that's like they're depriving you. They're depriving you. The Prophet system is saying that whoever deprives you, you give it to them. So whoever can practice these 3 points, the Prophet system is saying that on the day of Qiyamah, their hisab kitab will be easy. Their reckoning, accountability will be very easy, and they will be swiftly be able to enter into Jannah. Yani Deen Islam is such a beautiful deen. There is so much beauty in our deen, so much beauty in our Sharia, that it has laid down these beautiful principles by which we can live our life. And if we can just add up all of these, uh, add up all of these benefits that we learned that if a person practice the practice Salah Rahmi, then number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them barakah in their age, prolongs their life. Allah expands their rizq, gives them barakah in their sustenance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them a death on Iman, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves them from any embarrassment on the day of Qiyamah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves them from any accountability on the day of Qiyamah. Plus, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes them easily enter into Jannah. So this is one amal, but look at the benefit. Such a beautiful amal that through this one amal, one deed, one can straight away directly enter into Jannah. So we should try to appreciate this Hadith Mubarakah and try to practice these teachings in our life as well. I'll just end with one incident, one story, which is about two brothers, one elder and the other younger. So the elder brother, he got married and he also had some children. The younger brother was still doing his job. He was unmarried. And then their father passed away. So the land that was the father's, both the brothers, they divided that land into half. Now, when they divided the land as inheritance in half, the the crop of that land then came out after 1 year, as it normally comes out after every 1 year, yearly. So the elder brother gathered his crop, and the younger one gathered his crop. But when night came, the elder brother thought that I also have sons, and they will also become a helping hand in a year or two. So I don't need this crop as much as my younger brother does. He's alone, he's single-handed, so he will earn when he has worked hard. So why shouldn't I give some sacks of wheat from my share to my other brother, to my younger brother? So he picked up his 5 sacks and went and put them in the part of that land of his younger brother where his sacks were lying. Now, subhanAllah, when the last part of the night came, the same thought came to the younger brother's heart as well, that we are two brothers and our land is half and half, but I'm alone. I don't need that much. My elder brother, he has a family, he has children, wife, he has much more responsibilities, he has more burden. Why shouldn't I put some of my wheat into his share so that he can benefit from it? So very secretly, he also picked up 5 sacks and went and put them in the brother's sacks at night. Now in the morning, when both the brothers, they calculated their wheat, their share, naturally they were surprised. because according to their calculation, the quantity of wheat was the exact same, and they had given 5 sacks to the other brother at night. But in the morning, uh, the shortage of those 5 sacks was made up. So both of them were very surprised that our 5 sacks of wheat should have been less. Why aren't they? That they aren't. Why aren't they less? So the next night came, and both the brothers they thought that today we'll again do the same thing. We'll put wheat in our brother's field. And subhanallah, one picked up 5 sacks, the other picked up 5 sacks. And then when both were going to put them on each other's land, they met each other on the way. One had also picked up 5 sacks on the tractor. The other had also picked them up on his tractor. He was going to put them in his brother's share, and this one was going to put them in his brother's share. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us such a true love. So we make dua that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us the ability to act upon these teachings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to live a life of taqwa, to strengthen these bonds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to stay away from any fasad, corruption, bad deeds. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. سبحان ربي الوهاب اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على حبيبي خير خلق محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين